So let's open up today by doing a quick review of the Middle Colonies region, so our second of the three regions we've talked about. First of all, when we're talking about the Middle Colonies, we're talking about New Jersey, Delaware, New York, and Pennsylvania, right? So those are the four colonies that most of this stuff is all going to be true about. So their geography, their land and weather, things they had in common, they had some really good soil that'll be important in their economy, right? They had some nice mild weather. New England was too cold. The southern colonies were too hot.
Okay. This is just right.
So like not as cold as in the north or not as hot as in the south, right? And they had a long coast just like pretty much all the colonial regions did. Now, as far as their economics go, how did they make their money? So they had those really large food farms, right?
My grandfather left me a 60-acre working beet farm. I run it with my cousin Mose. We sell beets to local stores and restaurants. It's a nice little farm.
They provided a lot of the food for the 13 colonies. That's why they got the nickname of the breadbasket.
Let's get this bread. Keep going.
And then they also did some lumbering. They also did some trading, things like that. They had a lot of merchant craftsmen who would take raw materials from elsewhere in the colonies and then make things and trade them around. Politically, they had some self-government, right? They had some other types of government as well, such as the royal colony and things like that. Religiously, this region was much more tolerant, which means different types of religions could coexist side by side and all get along. And then, of course, we can't forget the Quakers, right? We got to keep the Quakers in mind here, who were strict pacifists, which means they didn't believe in violence, so they wouldn't fight back. Now, we mentioned how being a true pacifist meant if you're walking down the street and you get hit, you're supposed to just walk away and not do anything back. Because of being a pacifist like that, you can imagine how that would cause you problems if people didn't like you, which is why they left England and came to start their colony in America. Now, socially, as far as town life, they didn't have public schools, so education was a lot lower. But there was a lot of diversity in the Middle Colonies. There were people from all over the world, a lot of different types of people, different cultural backgrounds, things like that. That's different from a lot of the other regions where things were pretty much mostly the same. There's a lot of diversity in the Middle Colonies. So a good way to sum up the Middle Colonies, right? Very mild, nice weather, but very diverse, both in people and in the ways people can make their money.